and welcome back, guys, to the Spacey Tropics review channel, where we try to review a little bit of everything. Now today I have with me the DJI OSMO Pocket, and right now it's currently face tracking me. We'll go a little bit into all the features and whatnot just now, but right now it's currently face tracking me as I walk down here in this little path. So the OSMO Pocket, I've had it in my possession for quite some time right now, and right now I thought to make this video, since the OSMO Pocket was dedicated towards vloggers, more than ever it would make sense. I have to center it right there. More than ever it would make sense for me to try and do some type of vlogging tech review, I guess, if you want to call it that. So I'm gonna head up over here into Hudson River Park just to get some nice b-roll for you guys, and so you can see what this is about, and then we'll get into the real nitty-gritty of the DJI OSMO Pocket. So without further ado, let's get that b-roll going. Let's get a little bit of music going so you can see what this thing is about. So I'm gonna start off a little bit with the microphone. The microphone on this, although it picks up quite a bit of sound, and there was an update to get this microphone back in a little bit of a, better omnidirectional fashion, it still sounds a little off, still sounds a little bad. So now obviously you're gonna hear a lot more. You're gonna hear a lot more of the surroundings, a lot more of the scenery you can see. That is my honest to God only really hardcore gripe. Also, besides the little, as you can see, my face is dark. It doesn't do light well, but we'll go into that a little bit later on into the review. But so far, I can tell you for sure, my biggest con is the onboard microphone. Even though it's facing me in a vlogging style position, it's still not really the best microphone out. Other than that, so far, the OSMO Pocket has been pretty awesome. Let's continue with a little bit of more b-roll. I'll get to the spot that I want to get to, where it's a lot more sunnier, and we'll go from there. So as you can see, as soon as I enter into some direct sunlight, everything starts to become a little more better. Yeah, the mic isn't picking up well. Everything starts to become a little more better. Some color starts to saturate a little bit better. But as soon as I turn into the sun, it starts to get a little dark. And if I try to bring it down here to get... Oh, actually, I am blocking the sun. So you see it starts to fade out a little bit. Especially when you come here. Oh, it's actually doing a little bit better this time. But usually when I'm in direct sunlight, it starts to fade out. It doesn't come, the image doesn't come right. Everything starts to get dark, super dark. And it's just a blown image. Versus when you turn around and get some sunlight into you, obviously it's a completely different story. All the colors start to pop. Everything else starts to pop in terms of skin tone and background and scenery and everything. And it just looks a lot better. So keep that in mind when you buy it. Keep that in mind when you buy it. Direct sunlight, it doesn't work so well, but if you're in the right direction with the light, it will work absolutely perfectly. So you can see that I'm starting to darken out a little bit because of the sun, but it'll get fixed as soon as you start moving to the side and actually getting the sun in your face. So one thing that I need to mention is battery life, and the battery life on the OSMO Pocket is 2 hours. Now for something this small, 2 hours seems like a miracle, to be honest. But other than that, I mean, for 2 hours it's pretty good. In terms of you using it when it's charging via a actual battery bank, you can use it while it's charging via a battery bank. You can still record. Just bear in mind that it does get a little bit warm. Not unbearably hot, but it does get warm to the touch, and to be honest, I don't like it when it gets warm. I think it's going to damage something, but that's just my personal opinion in my head. It's probably not damaging absolutely anything, and it's perfectly fine. Please excuse the wind, it's a little windy today, but on with the review. favorite spot to sit down, and it's nice and okay, kind of quietish compared to 55 waters over that side. So I'm gonna get into the nitty gritty of all of the little doohickeys and doodahs that go through the DJI Mimo app. Now, you are going to 100% need the DJI Mimo app. You can't use the other DJI app. The Mimo app is specifically for the Osmo Pocket, and if you do not have it, you can't even register the device. So you have to go through the app, you have to download it, you have to plug it in, and then you have to go through all the software updates that have come up until now. So yeah, let's get into the nitty gritty. You'll see what the DJI Mimo app is about, and yeah, let's do it. Alright, so the DJI Mimo app, we're gonna hit that, we're in. Okay, so right now I'm actually using screen recording on the iPhone. God bless for having that that feature. I just double check to make sure. Yeah, there it is. So there we go. So with screen recording, I'll be able to show you. So now we have a photo mode for photos. We have video, if you look in the corner this way. Video, slow motion. Now slow motion crops in 4 times, obviously. So this is regular video mode. You have a lot. And then slow motion crops in 4 times. So regular video mode, that is more along the lines of, you know, you could do all the way up to 4K. Slow motion is 1080p at 120 frames per second. So it crops in 4 times. So now using that kind of slow motion, it's obviously going to hamper you from trying to get certain shots in slow motion, especially if it's a cramped space. You need to be far back along before you can start using slow motion. So yeah, like I said, there's slow motion, and then there's an actual time-lapse feature where you can leave the Osmo sitting down on whatever surface. It will do a time-lapse for you of how many ever seconds you need it to be, and you'll have a nice smooth time-lapse. Now, I personally have never tried the time-lapse feature before. I've heard other people trying it, and they were very successful. It was very cool, and they love it. So go ahead, give it a shot if you do plan on picking up the DJI Osmo Pocket. Now, speaking of picking it up, the price point I paid for this is $349.99, aka $350 at Best Buy, plus tax $381.05, $31.05 tax. So bear that in mind. It is not cheap, but it's not an expensive DJI product either. So let's see, now I'm in time-lapse mode. Let's go back to photo mode, and we will try to get some stuff here. So now here you can see slow motion, fast motion follow. We have our tilt lock for the gimbal, FPV mode where it'll just follow as best as possible, and then regular follow mode where face tracking will be applied and you can, you know, track yourself. Going down, we have a timer so in this case this is photo, so it'll have a timer for how long it takes the picture, and you can set it to 3 seconds, 5 seconds, or 7 seconds. In this case, I don't really use the photo mode so much. I just take photos on my big A6300, my big camera, or I just use my iPhone to take some pictures. But other than that, yeah, I don't really use the photo mode. Oh, by the way, there's also pano mode, so you can take a full panoramic shot, and then story mode you could see is right above pano mode on the side here. If you didn't catch me, story mode is up there. I'm not gonna click that because it's bad. Okay, just don't use it. I had a bad experience with it. The instructions for some of the stuff is still in Chinese or Mandarin or whatever language it is. It's still in that Mandarin type of language, and you can't understand it. And yeah, just don't use it. It was a bad experience for me. I don't use it at all. So let's go back to video mode now. Video mode, obviously here, it's the same thing. Fast motion, slow motion follow, tilt follow, FPV mode. We're going to go over here. Now, this is the frame rate that you can record at. You can record all the way up 4K. So this highlighted in blue, that's the 4K. You can record up to 60 frames per second with 4K. Now, one downside to 4K at 60 is the fact that you cannot use face tracking. If you turn it around, if you turn it towards you, you cannot use face tracking in order to, you know, track yourself. It does not allow it no matter what. Maybe there'll be an update that'll come later on to allow face tracking with 4K at 60, but for now, that's not an option. Everything from 4K and 50 and down, and then 1080p, oh, let me block that mic there. 1080p at 60 and down can all do face tracking. So the only one that can't do it is 4K at 60. Let me turn a little bit this way to get rid of the wind. So the quality down here, you have fine, you have super fine. If I click that, oh well, okay, can't click super fine there. Let's see, in 1080p, I'll probably be able to click super fine. Yeah, okay, so you can't do it at 50 frames or possibly, yeah, 50 or 25. So, oh, you can't do it. All right, so 60, can't do it. 30 and lower, yeah. So 30 frames, 25 frames per second, you can do super fine down here. But I never use super fine. I just leave it on regular fine and just record. I barely use this at night. Super fine is for like lower light shots where you can't really pick up stuff, so it's gonna just try and pull as much detail as possible. One thing I can mention for sure is that this does not do well in low light scenarios. You need some type of light, some type of like LED shining, some type of anything to get any type of low light shot that you want to get. Other than that, if you have it in sunlight, you have it in daylight, it's going to work perfectly fine for you. So yeah, like I said, 1920, you can do 25 frames per second, you can do 30 frames per second, you can do 50 frames per second, and you can do 60 frames per second while still having face track. Now face track, the way that looks is I will draw a square over my face, and there it goes. You see the little green X right about there, and it's tracking my face. Cool, right? And then when you don't want it, you just press the X and it's gone. Over here, that's to recenter the camera and its frame. So you've seen some of the resolutions. We can go down here. So now right now I'm shooting in basic mode just because most people, when they get this, are not going to be advanced, or they're not going to use the advanced features. But here you can go into pro mode. You can switch from MP4 to movie mode. I leave my white balance on auto. Color, I leave it on normal, or you can use cine-like colors. So cine-like, I guess, it makes everything a little more dull, but it tries to get all the natural stuff. So later on, when you're processing later and trying to add your own colors, it'll look pristine. Anti-flicker, 60 hertz. So the anti-flicker is like if you're recording cars and whatnot, and you could see the LED is flickering a little bit, the LED lights that are on the cars. This will try to help minimize or even stop it from happening, period. Volume amplification, possibly, I'm guessing that's for the microphone, so it can try to pick up more of your voice. Nah, I don't really use it at all. Grid, so you can have grid lines. So obviously you can see the grid lines on my face now. Or let's go back here. You can use grid lines with diagonal lines. So now you have the little diagonal line going here, and then the whole box and the whole nine. I don't really use the grid lines. I just leave it on the stop. I just leave it off and just work with it like that. Going down here, you can use this for overexposure, so it'll show you everything that's overexposed, but obviously sometimes you might need overexposed stuff in order to get the shot. So don't worry about it, but you could dial that down in some manual featuring, in some manual modes. Histogram, a histogram is there. So what a histogram is, for some of you that don't know, it's to show that everything is balanced. So right now, if you could see it here, it's pushing more towards the wider side of the spectrum. So 255 being the highest, so you can see that little spike right there. 255 being the highest, and yeah, you can see that it's really bright. That's why when you click the overexposure right here, it gets really bright. The more you go this side, the darker it is. So if this side is too high, that means the subject is too dark. If this side is too high, that means it's a little too bright. And if it creates a little mountain like that, then it's perfect. So that's what the histogram is for. A lot of, top name players love to use the histogram just to make sure their shot is extra clean. So the last thing down here is focus mode. So I leave it on AFS. I'm not really sure what that is, but I just leave it there. But for now, I leave it on basic mode. So now one thing you got to take into consideration also is that whatever you do on the phone, it'll automatically transfer over to the Osmo. And when you unplug the Osmo, those settings will stay. They will stay until you plug this thing back into the phone and start readjusting all your little settings and whatnot. So, yeah, that's pretty much a majority of the actual, proper settings that are on here. Now, you do have some settings on the Osmo Pocket that's plugged in this way to my phone. You do have some settings there. You can swipe this way to get some of your video and photo settings, to get to the time-lapse setting, a bunch of that jazz. You can swipe up and you'll be able to get to some of the settings to maybe recenter it. But that's what the little button down here, yeah, it's about down here on the Osmo. That's what the little button next to the record button is for. So you single tap, it'll switch between photo and video mode. You double tap, it'll recenter the frame, and you triple tap, it'll go between selfie mode aiming at me, and then, you know, shooting regular, you know, landscape mode when it's shooting outside. You see it said target lost there. All right, now it picked me back up again. What else can I mention? If you swipe this way on the little screen on the Osmo Pocket, you'll be able to view some stuff, but to be honest, that's not the best way. Usually I just click that and you're able to view everything that you've done so far. So I like to view it on the phone versus me actually viewing it, you know, on the Osmo, because that screen is tiny. It's like 2 by 2, maybe even less than that. Who knows? 1 by 1 maybe even. There's a record button, so you immediately start recording. What I like to do, I don't really like to start recording on the Osmo itself. I more along the lines like to start recording with it connected to my phone. Press the recenter button. The recenter button is this one. That's to switch to the back camera. So let's, well, not back camera, but that's to switch backwards. As you can see, nice area. Switching back to me. This right here, let's see. This right here is to recenter. So, and recenter the frame, like I said. If you press the home button, you'll go to the Osmo Pocket Home here. So, obviously things are working out. If you select this button up here, on the upper left-hand corner, I want to say, or well, in this case, since it's in landscape, the downward left-hand corner, that's going to get you back into your camera mode. You have a home button down here, well, a little house down here. Tap that. You're already in your home, actually. You hit the plus. You're going to go into all the stuff that's stored in your cache. Exit out of that. You hit this. It's a little introduction kind of thing for you to be like in a DJI, you know, session, I guess, or whatever. Club, I guess, if you want to call it that. But I don't use that at all. So let me hit the camera back, get back to my face here. Overall, the DJI Osmo Pocket is a 10 out of 10 device if you know exactly what you're doing with it. Now I'm going to hit record, and I'm recording. So I took the phone off of a screen record mode, and hopefully that came out as good as I hope it did, as I think it did. Anyways, the DJI Osmo Pocket is a 10 out of 10 device if you know who it's for. This device is more along the lines for beginners onto intermediate type of people. So you're going to use this a majority of the time. It is a great, magnificent device to use. It is easy, it is intuitive, and when you plug it into the phone, a whole set of features are introduced to you that you could obviously do. I forgot to mention on the upper portion here, you're not going to see it now because I'm not in screen record mode, but the upper portion here, it shows your mic levels, and on this side here, it'll show the time that you've been recording. So in this case, it's been 50 seconds or so now. Here, it'll show a little few other stuff, your SD card space, your battery life, and what kind of autofocus it's in. So in this case, AFS for me. Other than that, there's not much really else to go over the Osmo Pocket. I'm gonna get a little bit more B-roll for you guys so you can view that, and I'm gonna go into my closing thoughts. Got a little tongue-tied right there, but yeah, let's cue the B-roll now.
you've seen the B-roll, you've seen what I had to offer, you've seen practically as much as I can show you about this Osmo Pocket. Now, by no means am I a 100% great videographer or this, that, and the third. I'm trying to get there, but yeah, I'm not there yet, you know, but hopefully I'm growing. My channel is growing, and I'm thankful for all the subscribers that I have, and my channel is growing, and I'm very happy. So you can see some little new Spacey Tropics merch right here. I got something on the back. If you want to see more of it, you can head over to the Spacey Tropics Instagram, and you can head over to the Spacey Tropics website. Even if you don't buy anything, the little, you know, traffic going through the website, I appreciate that. If you can just take a look and see what you like, who knows, maybe you might want one. Anyways, as getting back to the Osmo Pocket, it is a 10 out of 10 device, like I've said previous. It is 100% for beginners and for mid-size, medium-range videographers, vloggers. This is 100% for vloggers, that's for sure. But you can get some awesome B-roll if you're one of those top, like, other tech reviewers, other tech people, anybody who else who's trying to just record landscape or vlog their life or just get the best B-roll possible. You could do this. So, Osmo Pocket 10 out of 10. For the advanced people, I forgot to mention, for the advanced people, this is more like a companion device for you. I know you like your 1D Mark X. I know you like your EOS Rs and all that other craziness. I know you like the A7 Mark III and all the craziness too. But this is going to be more of a companion device for you when you can't really pull your camera out. It's kind of like a tight situation. You can just yank this out or plug it into your phone and you're ready to go. Overall verdict, I think you should get this. I think you guys are going to really enjoy it if you get it. You don't need a big camera right away if you want to start vlogging or if you're halfway into your vlogging. You're going to really enjoy this, and it's going to be a fun experience. It's intuitive. It's great to use. Again, you're gonna love it. Thank you for watching. I do hope you guys go down and subscribe to the channel. Let the channel grow, let the channel build. I want to bring the best reviews I can possibly bring to you guys. So please like, comment, and subscribe. Share the video if you know somebody that wants the Osmo Pocket and just wants to see a little bit of, you know, the here and there nitty-gritty stuff about it. And yeah, I'll catch you guys on the next review. So go ahead, visit the Instagram, visit the website, subscribe, you know the deal. I'll catch y'all in the next one.